I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo, welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. I guess I got a little Slim Shady and Gracie, well, I guess half of Gracie over there. But, man, guys, I just did a video just talking about, the whole Bo Nickal situation coming into the UFC, making his debut. Has his first fight. I think he's the first fight. He's opening up the main card. And I'm just kind of worried. I think he's going to have a very dominant performance. I think Jamie Pickett's, handpicked for him to have a huge performance. And I think the hype might just get a little too crazy now that the UFC's got their own little American Habib or something type. And I think it's going to just be a really dominant win. And I'm just worried they're going to push him a little too quickly. Don't get me wrong, this guy's grappling is top notch. But, just saying, I don't care who anybody is, 3 fights into your MMA career, you're going to have some struggles with the stand-up, especially if somebody can actually keep it standing and actually stuff the takedown. So, just a little worried, but you guys definitely check that out. But also, man, before I get too crazy, tomorrow I'm about to go crazy on Valentina and Alexa Grasso, 2 of my favorite female fighters. They got to fight. I'm going to be nervous as hell on UFC 285. My favorite fighter, John Jones, is fighting. My UFC crush, Amanda Hebos, is fighting. And I'll get more into the main events later. But, man, before I get too crazy, I think if it wasn't for John Jones fighting and Valentina being the GOAT and having her fight, dude, Geoff Neal versus fucking Shavkat Rakhmonov might be top notch, man. That might be the fight of the night. I don't know how to explain it, dude. Their fighting explains it for me, dude. Geoff Neal, guys, if you guys go watch this, man, ever since he fought Frank Camacho in his first fight, bro, in the UFC, and Frank Camacho literally had 32 fights or something at that time already, pro fights. I know he's lost 10 times or something, but dude, he's won 20-some plus times. And Geoff Neal comes in there as a young little rook and just says, "Oh, I'll take you out." And then just what he's done to everybody, man. Just his last knockout of VIcente Luque. Who does that to VIcente? I thought that was going to be a really close fight, and boy, Geoff Neal, he's just taking just leaps and bounds and just dominations, man, of everyone that he's fought so far. And it just makes me laugh, though, because, it's the same guy that we see who's just killing it. And just 2 years ago, he beats, I think it might have been 2.5 years ago, he beats Wonderboy Thompson, one of the biggest wins he's ever had. He came off a win off of Bilal, who's crying for a title. Geoff Neal might be the top guy, and yet just 2 years ago, after a win off of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, goes on to lose to fucking Neil Magny. It makes me laugh. Neil Magny, I've done videos on Neil Magny talking about how he's the most frustrating fighter. He's almost like Tyron Woodley, but even worse because Tyron won the title. But just the way Tyron used to sit on the fence used to piss me off and just shut down. We saw it against Jake fucking Paul. So with fucking Neil Magny, he's so tall. He should have been back in the if you used him back in the UFC video games, this dude was unfair because he was just like a John Jones, too tall, too lengthy, and everything. And he'll go out there and beat a Robbie Lawler, beat these top notch Geoff Neal, beat all these top notch guys, but then get absolutely demolished by some nobody. Or no offense to nobody, I shouldn't say nobody because these guys are pro fucking fighters and they're killers. I'm just saying he'll lose to a guy that he's 3-1 favorite on, and it just makes me fucking laugh. But this is hilarious because MMA math comes in and Shavkat Rakhmonov took him out in literally a round. And that's the thing about Shavkat. If Shavkat had the voice and had the just the grit and everything that Khamzat does, Shavkat would be Khamzat right now. This dude maybe looks a little more impressive. I know clearly Khamzat's got bigger opponents so far, and he's had bigger fights because he's had more of a mouth on him, and it was oh, kill everybody. He does all that, but I mean, clearly you got Shavkat out here just cool, calm, and collected, just killing cats. Literally, I think he's averaged 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes, I think, in a UFC. That's his average. He's got there in the second round a couple times, but he always finishes people. And man, I'm so excited for this fight because Geoff Neal deserves so much, and for him to take this risk is huge. And he's that type of cat that would do this. And clearly, I mean, I've always had a thing for Geoff Neal. I've always thought he's the man, just because he works 2 jobs and stuff, or he used to work at fucking Chili's or something forever while he's knocking people out in UFC. And then the next weekend he's like, oh hey, yeah, I'm your waiter. I didn't make enough money last week. So yeah, clearly, I'm a hustler. I work 2 jobs. We're trying to work more than that, but I know what he does, and it's cool. Clearly, he's a fighter, and he's got way more balls than I do. I think he's amazing. Just saying, I've always had that connection with him as a fan. And I think it's a huge fight for both of them. Clearly, Shavkat can just take everything that this man just did and be like, oh, now here's my title chance. So I'm really fucking excited for this fight. I don't know how it's going to go. Geoff Neal is like the perfect guy to fight Shavkat for us to finally see who Shavkat is, because it's a lot like Khamzat finally fighting Gilbert Burns. Like, yeah, I mean, Gilbert Burns has probably done a little more than Geoff Neal, but, dude, Geoff Neal, you better watch out for that boy. He's coming into his own. And there's something about him that just really impressive, especially me as I'm a Muay Thai guy. I've always loved it. I've always trained in it. And it's, I love seeing beautiful striking. And Geoff Neal, man, talking about a guy just finally, like, just getting into the rhythm. He gets into that flow state that we always talk about. He gets in there so quick, and he's so good at just, he's almost got that, like, just the whole distance. And, when you finally see them fighters like John Jones, the greatest, they always talk about IQ in fighting is, like, you finally know. Like, that's why boxing can get so beautiful with, like, Floyd and these guys and Tyson Fury, because these guys that just dial in on distance and reach. And man, I'm telling you, Geoff Neal has got that down, and he keeps such a high guard, and his hips are so strong. He's always tough in the takedown. So I'm impressed by him at all times, and I think he's really built to beat Shavkat. But I'm excited. This is Shavkat's test, and I just don't know who I'm rooting for here. Clearly, I'm rooting for Geoff Neal. I know that part, but I'm just saying I could see how I could want Shavkat to win, because clearly I'm always the type of guy that you want to see, the dude just absolutely successful at all times. It's always beautiful to see the 12-0, the 14-0, the 15-0, the 20-0. That zero behind the name, which is why Dana's always trying to do with John Jones, and that's why we all love John Jones, because he should have never had that one. But still, it's always something about that zero. Look at Khabib, look at Floyd Mayweather. It's something about never being beat. And yeah, we've seen Geoff Neal lose a little bit, so it's like, but me personally, I love the comeback story, but I'm saying Shavkat, though, has that chance to be undefeated going into off a Geoff Neal win. Maybe gets a Bilal fight that dominates him. Gets anybody. Gets Colby. Gets anybody in the Gilbert. Gets the Khamzat fight that I've been calling for. I'm pretty sure I did a video last year, like before the Gilbert fight. It's might even been like a year and a half ago. Before the Gilbert fight and before Shavkat's last fight, against Neil Magny. Literally, I was sitting there like calling for it. I was like, this is the fight to do. But I know. At the same time, I was kind of arguing it, because I'm like, man, I hate when they put them young bulls up against each other, and it's like, oh, you kind of, when the O's got to go, it's like, oh, man, it's tough when you want to do that so early and kind of wait for somebody to be a champion and hope it gets there. But that's the other thing. It's like it never gets there, so you kind of want to see it when it has a chance, and I wish we could see it soon. And it might happen, but it sounds like Khamzat's days at 170 are done, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. I couldn't tell you, but I would love to see that matchup in a Kamaru matchup. Leon, anything. Sorry. If he can get through Geoff Neal, shit's going to get crazy. So I don't know what you guys are thinking. I'm pretty sure that Shavkat's favored a little bit. I didn't look into it. I'm pretty sure he is. I'm not the biggest bettor on UFC, just in MMA in general, just because usually it's not that big of the odds difference. Always like you make $20 off your 100. I'm like, nah, I'm cool off that. But like, I might throw some money down on Alexa Grasso. That's my girl, and she got a chance to maybe win some bucks for me. I might throw some. But fights like these that are that close, man. Like, I'm sure Shavkat is favored probably, but guys, don't sleep on Geoff Neal. That boy's the man. I'm telling you, man. Something about when you see these guys come in and they just fully come into themselves and they fully know who they are as a fighter, and that's who Geoff Neal is. So it's one thing that I really want to see, but it's also that rarity of like, man, we haven't seen much of Shavkat. When we do, he's dominant. So I can't wait to see him in an actual fight. So we'll see it, baby. I'm excited. UFC 285. Let's go.